failure. It's the right thing to do. That's what makes you a champion.
I can't wait for Daddy to go, Dad, just go to the gym!
Can you hear me?
You can indeed.
Hey, bud.
Ooh,
Mate, you all right?
Yeah, good mate, you?
good evening.
Not bad, not bad.
Many trophies.
Yeah, got a few.
Although the best ones are right behind him, so we can't see them.
There we go.
There they are.
There we go.
Nice.
They're the best ones.
Obviously, I've got exactly the same. I've just blurred it out so not to show you up.
Yeah.
Oh, happy days.
How far out are you now?
2.5 weeks. So
Shit.
2 weeks under, yeah.
You're in the arse end of no man's land.
Exactly. I think this is the worst point because it's like it still feels ages away, but it's like, yeah, I'm struggling like fuck. So
You're just
yeah,
wishing the days away. Just like, please fuck off.
exactly, and then I can't fucking sleep neither.
Yeah,
It's driving me nuts, but it'll all be worth it in the end, hopefully. Anyway,
of course.
Right.
Of course. Which show is it?
I'm doing FitX in Leeds.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I sort of chose that one is a bit of a drive for me, but because just to get the dates to fall right with other stuff I've got going on, and then because I'm flying out to World's Strongest Man just after to work on that. So, yeah, at least I've got it done before I go away, so I ain't got to be prepping while I'm away.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that'd be fucking hideous. If you're like commentating as well, you'd be like, yeah, some massive, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I find myself, just losing myself in conversations at the moment. Like people are talking to me, and I'm just like, I just switch off like halfway through the conversation. But yeah,
I just call it like brain parts. Like your mind just like, nah, no, not a chance. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Think about the positives though. You'll have a wicked rebound, and then you can go out to World's Strongest Man, and you'll look immense.
Exactly. I'll be around all them fatties as well. So I'm
How have you been, Dan? All right? Oh, how was your honeymoon? The honeymoon, fucking.
How was the honeymoon? The stag do, mate, it was fucking horrible. Mate, it was horrible. Like, I don't drink, and I had to do a shot for every year I've known the bitch.
Oh.
And on touching down, so I was fucking annihilated from day one. And then probably the lowest point was where they got the stripper in this bar, and she put an ice cube in my mouth and smashed her vag into my face so hard I thought my teeth were going to come out in front of Ellis's dad. So I'm like looking at my Mrs. Dad, like, well, trying not to look, thinking, don't make eye contact. This is already fucking weird. So yeah, and those are the stories I can tell. It all went downhill from there, really.
Was she tidy, the stripper, or not?
Huh?
Was she tidy? Was she?
Well, I thought if I looked at her, Ellis's dad would like see that I looked at her and then headbutt me.
Yeah, he said he was like that. Innit?
What he's not telling you is Alice's dad arranged it.
Yeah.
Well, the arrangement was actually supposed to. I'll send you the thing was supposed to be for the order was ugly fat midget, and
that was busy. But
and the reply, I think I said it to you, the reply was, I'm sorry, but ugly fat midget's already been booked. So that was a shame. Not that it could have been much worse. Anyway, we'll cover that at a later date.
Yeah, sorry.
Welcome back to Bash Bros Podcast, episode 71. We are lucky to have our first blue tick from Instagram, Mr. Terry Hollands.
mate, you all right? You all good?
Very good, mate. Very good. What we normally do, I'll do the usual routine, is I'll share your Instagram page for anyone
Johnny,
watching.
can you turn the input down on your mic? It's mad. It's madness.
It's madness. Okay, 2 seconds. Let me I gotta stop sharing a second to do that. It's too loud.
There's madness over here.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's it.
Somewhere in the middle.
There. Right, okay. We'll go with that.
That's nice.
So yeah, share Terry's page. You should already be following him.
Big dog.
But you'll notice that the strongman stuff has gotten less and less and less, and
Fucking phenomenal.
the man in the pants has become more and more and more. So
Loads of pictures of me in my pants.
So, without further ado, I mean, we might as well just get stuck straight into it. Give us a rundown of your career, of what got you into strongman, and why the transition to bodybuilding.
I mean, starting out with a strongman, I basically just entered a competition just for fun. I'd been over playing rugby in New Zealand and come back and realised I wasn't sort of going to be as successful in that as what I wanted to be, putting it bluntly. So I was sort of shopping around for a few clubs, and it was all sort of semi-pro stuff. And I was like, I don't really want to be working a full-time job and having the pressure of doing all that sort of extreme training. So I can either, I've still got to work a full-time job if I'm semi-pro, or I can go and play rugby with all my old school pals and get drunk on the weekends and have a good time. So I decided with that option. And at the time, like, one of my mates had sort of really got into bodybuilding, and he was like, oh, like, come and do a few sessions. I mean, he didn't compete, but he was just, just training. And I was like, oh, I went and do a few sessions, and sort of realised pretty quickly that I was a lot stronger than he was, and he'd been training for a good few years. And I'd always loved watching World's Strongest Man. Saw a competition online, and this was obviously before social media and everything, so it was like one of these online forums. Found a competition that was nearby, just like a novice competition, entered that, won that. Then 2 weeks later, I did South Coast Strongest Man with the big boys, and I come fourth there, and I was like, fuck, I'm pretty good at this, so I'm going to give it a good go. And started training for it. I hooked up with one of the guys there, like, we started training together. Did the Southern qualifier for England's Strongest Man, come second. Then went to England's Strongest Man, come second. Went to UK's, won it, and then went to World's Strongest Man for the first time, and that was all in about a 7-month period. So it was all pretty unexpected. I didn't really sort of, that wasn't ever the plan to get to World's Strongest Man. It was just, I'll do it for shits and giggles, and then it all of a sudden just happened, and I was like, I remember being stood there on the first event going, fucking hell, I'm competing at World's Strongest Man. I'm going to be one of them guys that I was watching on TV. And it was a bit of a weird moment. But yeah, I mean, basically then that was, 2005. So I was like 25 at the time. And then I had 17 years of competing in international strongman comps. I did 15 appearances at World's Strongest Man, 9 top 10 finishes, 2 third places. I got a second at Europe's Strongest Man, 1 Masters World's Strongest Man in my 40s. What else did I do? 1 Britain's Strongest Man, 1 UK Strongest Man, 1 England Strongest Man, won the Champions League overall, and that's pretty much all the sort of titles that I had in that.
Fuck.
Well, I bet my mate still benches more than you. Definitely at the moment, I can tell you that now. Definitely. That's absolutely phenomenal, isn't it?
That's outrageous. Were you doing any like strength training stuff for rugby?
Not a lot. I mean, I did do some, obviously, but my biggest issue when I was playing rugby was keeping my weight down. I was like one of the guys that got stuck in fat camp every pre-season and had to run loads. So, I've always been one of those people that puts on weight really easy. So that was more the issue for me. So a lot of my training was based around conditioning work and stuff like that. So I didn't do a lot of weight training, but I mean, I remember the first time I ever deadlifted, and what did I deadlift? 260 on my first ever attempt at deadlifting. So I was, I was well ahead of sort of what most people are. I just, obviously I'd done a lot of strength training in terms of like actual practice in the sports, because I did judo before rugby as well. So I'd always been very sort of active and done sports that required me to be strong. I just not actually lifted weights, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's just proof of the genetics is the major part, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's exactly it. I mean, obviously you do get some people that manage to sort of overcome it with a lot of fucking graft, but most of the guys are pretty strong to start with before they even sort of get to that point of, they'll either start off really strong or they'll get strong very quickly. It'll be one or the other.
Yeah. What do you find harder? Like, what did you find harder, strongman or bodybuilding, or what do you prefer personally? Like, I know you're very good at strongman, but do you prefer?
At the point where I'm at now, because my body's so fucked, to be totally honest, I've got fucking tears everywhere and bad knees and a bad back and everything else.
Talking about tears, I remember vividly, I don't know which year it was, World's Strongest Man, watching it at Christmas, and you snapping your bicep and walking off like it was fucking nothing.
Yeah, it was a weird one. Yeah, I think I was so fucking pumped at the time. I just didn't even. Yeah, I like had pain for about that long. It was literally just like this sharp pain, and then it was gone. I think I was so full of adrenaline, I just didn't even feel it. Really, it was a weird one, but yeah, I managed to get that one operated on. But the one I did recently, yeah, they can't operate on it because I tore the tendon off the muscle. So that's pretty much what finished my strongman career off.
Right. What's the list of injuries then? Give us a list of the major ones.
I've torn both hamstrings. I've torn my right bicep once, my left bicep twice. I've got a small tear on the actual muscle belly on the inside of the bicep, and I've completely detached my long head, which is on the outside. So I've got a massive hole. Torn my right quad, both calves. Don't know what's going on with my back, but I'm in agony most of the time. I've got no cartilage in my left knee. I think that's about it. Yeah.
You like the English version of Ronnie Coleman?
Yeah. I mean, I do sometimes watch things like I watch these documentaries and I was thinking, fuck, I hope that's not me in another 10 years' time.
Not if you're smart enough. Ronnie's still fucking trying to train after surgery, isn't he?
Oh, mate, what? Yeah, I do see that. And I'm like, oh, come on. If you can't walk, leg press probably isn't for you.
Yeah.
So with the training for like strongman and then obviously for bodybuilding, what would you say is more taxing? Strongman.
Training wise, it's just different. I mean, like for me, the biggest issue with a strongman training was just being in pain all the time. Like literally your joints hurt all the time. So it's not so much muscle pain, like you don't get the DOMs like you do with the bodybuilding, but the fucking joint pain is ridiculous. Like every morning I'd get up and it'd sort of be trying to get out of bed and I'm like, fucking hell, like everything just hurts. My elbow hurts most of the time, you know, my knees. It's just, even still now, like I've got problems with one of my knees and my elbow and I haven't lifted anything heavy in like nearly a year now. Yeah, so it's, yeah, I mean, you don't get the DOMs, but you get the pain in that side. So it's sort of, both of them are, you know, I always say this, like they're equally tough. And I think if you've got the mindset to be able to put yourself through bodybuilding, you'll be able to do it with a strong man and vice versa. It's just, if you want to sort of put that focus into it, you can do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
It's sort of, I think they're both sports that it's not like playing Sunday league football. You can't just play with it. You know, you've got to be all in. So, you know, it takes that sort of person that is literally willing to just fucking commit to something like completely to actually be good at it.
Yeah, 100%.
So why bodybuilding? What made you jump into that? And like I saw a couple of your things, and like you're still over 300 pounds, and you're what, 2.5 weeks out. So
yeah. Well, I just dipped under today. I was 298 pounds this morning, but
fucking hell.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a few reasons really. One, when my little one come along, I decided that I wanted to lose some weight and sort myself out a little bit because I was up at like fucking 200 kilos when he was born, and it was when he got a little bit older and I'm trying to look after him, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, I feel like shit all the time. So I came down to like 155 kilos, there or thereabouts. And so I'd already sort of lost a big chunk of it. And then obviously my ex was a bodybuilder, so I started going to a lot more shows than I had in the past. I'd been to a few when I was doing the strongman, but started going to a lot more, getting a lot more interested in it, and sort of yeah, because I was already sort of like, you know, on the way to sort of getting in better shape. I just thought, fuck it, let's keep going with it and see where I can get to. I needed to have a little bit of break from strongman because it was just doing my head in a little bit, and just decided to do a bodybuilding show. But
I first show, you know?
Yeah. And I absolutely love that sort of the challenge of it. You know, the whole mental side of it. I really sort of feel like I get a lot out of it. I feel like it helps me in other areas of my life as well, because you become so mentally strong and focused on that, you can sort of use that strength in other areas of your life as well.
Mhm.
So I just love the challenge, really, and obviously something that I never thought I'd do. So yeah, it's just a good journey, and plus it's nice getting older and starting to look a bit fucking better than I did in my 20s. So
In all fairness, though, your skin managed well to come back from 200 kilos. I mean, most you see like big fat fuckers who come from 200 kilos come down. They got like the big skin flaps and shit.
yeah, I mean, I suppose the trouble is for me at 200 kilos. I mean, obviously when I'm like posting transformation pictures, I'm picking my worst ones from back then. It's sort of like I definitely didn't look like most 200 kilo people would. If you'd have actually sort of seen what I looked like, I was just super bloated and had like a bit of fat all over me. I mean, I think like my waist measurement of my biggest was like 46, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I'm still only a 38 now. So it's like, you know, it's not like I've actually lost that much size, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I had some big fucking massive belly hanging over my cock or anything like that.
Just got a massive cock.
Yeah, exactly.
But how did just so because I'm interested in the strongman side of things, I don't really know like that much about it. How did your day look as a strongman trying to get all your food in? How does your training go, and how does it differentiate from what you do now?
I mean, it wasn't actually, especially in the end, it wasn't that dissimilar. I mean, obviously the food was completely different, but it's still that whole like regular meals, sort of, it controls your life a little bit to the extent you've always got to be on top of things, prepared and everything else. But yeah, obviously the type of food I would be eating would be very different, and the volumes of it. I remember like on my last prep, so the first show I did, on my first week of prep, I was on 7,500 calories and I dropped like 9 pounds in my first week. It was like, you know, so you can imagine the sort of amounts I was eating when I was doing strongman. It's like 10, 12,000 calories. And obviously
How did you get that in, bud? How did you get it in? Just
mass gainers. I used to use a lot of mass gainers, but also I used to eat a lot of shit, to be fair. It was all like, I'd always sort of go with like, if I was going to have a steak, it'd always be a ribeye steak, and it'd always be, you know, I'd have pizza quite regularly or fucking curries, and, you know, I'd always have like very high calorie foods, even if they weren't necessarily as sort of healthy as they should have been. I mean, in all honesty, if I was advising someone else, I mean, I don't think I'd change what I did because everything's sort of been part of my journey, but if I was advising someone who's starting out now, I would say to them, like, you know, keep on top of your nutrition. Don't eat like a fucking slob, because it will bite you on the arse eventually. And it kind of did in the end, because I got so fucking big that although my strength was getting better, I was losing points on all the events that I used to be good at, like all the moving events and stuff. So
like ability sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's what Gav Bilton is doing at the moment, the Welsh lad, isn't he? He's statically strong, but he just can't move.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's come down a bit recently, exactly for that reason. That's the trouble. I mean, you look at the really top guys. I mean, in all honesty, they're all fucking super athletic as well. They're big and they're, you know, some of them are carrying some excess weight, but they're all very, very fucking fast, and they're all very fit as well. So it's, you know, if you want to compete with them boys, you've got to be as strong as them and be able to do all that stuff as well. And it's not worth just getting bigger and stronger, because they'll just fucking slaughter you on everything else.
Yeah, my brother is doing the final UK Eliminator next weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's
I'm refereeing it.
Ah, right. Garrett Khan, his name is.
Oh, okay.
They call him the Cannonball, but he came third at the Wales, the strongest man, on his first attempt last year. So he's jumping in on that. So be interesting for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how the referee's going to go, because I'll only be a week out from my show, but I can do it, so, you know.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, well, what I want to know is like how you went from that waist to basically being able to pull like a mini vacuum.
Do you know what? Weirdly, I've always been able to do it. Like even when I was fat, I could still pull a vacuum. Oddly, I don't know what it is. I mean, because I never really did much ad work when I was doing strongman. I mean, I did a bit of core work, some planks, stuff like that, but I didn't do a lot of like direct ad work. But the only thing I would say is like right through my younger years when I was doing judo, from sort of like 6 years old right up until I was like 15, I literally used to do like hundreds of sit-ups a day, like every day. So I don't know if it's sort of got some like what I've sort of changed my makeup sort of as a youngster growing up that sort of enabled me to do things like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't really know. Just always been able to do it, and it's sort of I didn't even sort of think to on my first show. It's only sort of recently that I was like, oh, I can do that.
Fuck, I was looking for the secret.
The human body is amazing though. If you think about it, you spent all them years bracing against the belt, pushing your core out, and now you're able to put it back to that. It's mental.
Well, no, Terry's body's amazing. Mine would not do any of those things, and I'd be shit.
Maybe it's just all the years of trying to hold my stomach in, so I didn't look quite so fat.
Right, jump in on some questions then. Right, so I'll share the screen. First question. We're there now. How do I reduce this down? There we go.
Don't breathe into the mic.
Am I breathing? Am I?
Yeah,
obviously you're breathing.
No, I'm in a carb coma, lads. You'll have to give me a chance. I'm breathing like Darth Vader at the best of times. Okay, least favorite and favorite body parts to train.
At the moment, I'm enjoying training legs the most. It was always my least favorite, weirdly. I'm really enjoying that at the moment just because I'm seeing some progress. My least favorite, arms, because my biceps so fucked. I can literally, on my right arm, can curl like a 40-kilo dumbbell, and on my left, it's like I don't even think I could do 25.
Right.
Yeah. So
how do you set up your leg workouts now then? So just around issues and so on.
I mean, I don't squat at all now, like any barbell squats. I can sort of manage high volume, like hack squats, belt squats, things like that. The belt squat's been like quite a game changer for me, really. Just because, one, it takes the pressure off my back, where my back's a bit shot, and I can just sort of, just have a lower load and a higher volume and sort of bang out some good reps. Because I think with that as well, if you start to struggle and get tired, you've always got the ability to like use your arms to sort of spot yourself almost. Yeah. So that's been quite helpful. But yeah, I mean, I do at the moment right now, I'm doing a lot of supersets. So it'll be like hack squat into something, or belt squat into something. And it's like really high volume, sort of going like 15 and 15 on most things at the moment, which, well, for me, that's really high volume. I'm used to sets of 3.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the higher reps. It's just the intensity. You can still get the what you need from the intent. You've got the muscle mass there, clearly.
I mean, well, to be fair, I would say my quads are definitely my weakest area. Weirdly, like, I think my best squat ever is like 395 kilos. Yet my legs look fucking almost skinny. Like it's kind of annoying. It just sort of shows that strength training doesn't mean shit really when it comes to actually building muscle. Well, it does a little bit, but it's not as important as what people think. I think for me, like the changing of the style of it, the higher volume, then doing a lot more leg extensions and stuff like that has been the thing that's really sort of, my legs definitely look better this time than the first time. So
it's good.
I've added a lot more of that type of stuff in. So
good.
Yeah.
So next question from the main man, Rob Cannon. Thank you, Rob, for obviously facilitating this whole thing with Terry. He said, tell your boys, since I've been on, you ain't after some A-list celebrity guests. Opened the floodgates, didn't I? That's right, Rob. It's all because of you, brother. So here's my question. If you could go back in time to being 18 years old again, would you pursue strongman or bodybuilding, and your reasons to your answer?
I mean, I think much as I sort of love the bodybuilding now, and I really have sort of grown like a proper love for it. Like I'm really into it. Like I watch fucking podcasts all the time, and I'm watching videos, and I've really sort of got into it in a big way.
What podcast do you watch?
Whatever one, because I normally fall asleep halfway through it. But there's a lot of the hostile supplements guy.
Yeah, Fuad.
Yeah, I watch a lot of those, but not through choice. I end up falling asleep and they just automatically come on. But then I wake up and end up watching them. But yeah, like when the Arnold was on, like I was like checking all, and watching it all, and I've got quite into it. But I'm a lot better at strongman than I am at bodybuilding, that's for sure. It suits my body, my natural makeup a lot better. So I would still probably pursue that. Yeah, there's definitely no way I'd be coming third at the Olympia. You know what I mean? I've come third at World's Strongest Man. There's no way I'd be getting a third place at the Olympia with, the way my sort of body is made up.
Strong one, yeah. It's common sense, really. You're fucking one of the best to ever do it, and so you're not gonna.
I mean, in all reality, I can sort of play at bodybuilding and try and be as good as I can, but my genetics are not, predispositioned to be good at it. I've got a fucking gigantic thick waist and I've got bone structure like an elephant. So it's never going to be ideal. But, I'm sort of just trying to be the best I can be and enjoying all the process of it all.
Yeah.
I would say that, though, the people take more inspiration from the process than they do sometimes the prize. Like seeing you actually transition from strongman and go into this, it's obviously even inspiring to us, isn't it? Because obviously you've been the greatest at that, and then obviously bringing it to this now, it's really good to see, to be fair.
I honestly, like, when I heard you were doing it, thought you'd be proper shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you did amazingly. I was absolutely gobsmacked. I'd seen you like doing the commentary on World's Strongest Man, and you were like really out of shape.
Oh, I was fucking enormous.
And I just couldn't believe you pulled it off. Yeah, it was incredibly inspirational. To go from one thing to the other was amazing, and you did it far better than anyone thought you would.
I think it's like I was saying earlier, like, you guys would understand, you compete. It's sort of like some people have just got that sort of different mentality where you'll just fucking go at something with everything you've got. And I've sort of always been one of those people. So, like even for this prep, there's, if I don't look better than I did last time, well, so be it. But I have done absolutely everything I could have done, the posing, I'm posing every day. I haven't missed a meal, like literally I haven't cheated on my diet whatsoever. It's like, and I think where I sort of have had that mentality, it sort of crosses over into the bodybuilding quite nicely. And obviously, like I said, you guys would get it. It's, that whole, I think I'm almost maybe a little bit OCD about stuff. Like I get obsessive about stuff and I'll just will do everything I can to be as good as I can. And
But I think even people outside the sport can take inspiration from us doing that, because it takes a lot of effort. And like you say, it can transcend into everything that you do, business. 100%. And you can say, well, I'm going through this tough time with this, but I've overcome in bodybuilding, and you can always relate back to it.
Oh God, well, I don't need to tell you guys, some of the fucking darkest moments you have is when you're on prep, isn't it? It's like I've had a few days recently where I'm like literally sitting there. There was a day I was at Crayford Weights and Fitness about to train legs, and I was looking in my food bag and I like saw I only had 2 meals left. and I was like, and I've got a fucking squat and everything and train legs, and I was like, I genuinely could have cried. Like,
yeah.
But I'm literally sitting there and I'm like, I couldn't speak to anyone because I was like, I'm that on the edge that if someone fucking says something to me, the wrong thing, it's going to tip me over.
Terry, how do you deal with that? Like, obviously, probably in our gyms, we get hounded all the time, but you'll get hounded more than anyone. How do you find that when you're like a couple of weeks out from prep?
To be fair, I just keep my headphones on, but everyone thinks I'm a miserable bastard anyway, so it's all right. No one really wants to talk to me. They're all like, oh, don't talk to him, he's a grumpy fucker anyway. So I
try to keep that persona up just so they don't.
Exactly.
I'm actually not, but I just try to pretend I am.
I get excited. I get excited when I'm like eating food. Sometimes I'll accidentally talk to someone else, and it's a huge error. It'll come back later. You've got to set a precedent. Talk to no one ever.
Yeah, my mate said to me he wants to get me some T-shirts printed. Like, don't talk to me, I'm on prep. Because he's been bearing the brunt of me being a fucking miserable bastard. But I literally put my headphones on before I even walk in the gym. Like, so then even if I can, like, I catch someone in the background trying to talk to me, Like I don't make eye contact with them, pretend I can't hear them.
Yeah, literally. It's
Yeah.
easier than getting fuck off tattooed on your forehead, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's easier than that.
Exactly. I
You've
mean,
got to
it's
have it
not too
lasered
bad.
off.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad actually. Like where I'm training at the moment at Crayford, because there's quite a few bodybuilders there. It's like
They
I
get it.
don't have to deal with, like, most of them understand to a certain extent. Like, you know, there's a lot of people around. You know, if I am a bit fucking grumpy or not very chatty, people are like, oh, you know, he's on prep, so leave him alone.
Yeah, that's like the common term in it. He's on prep. That's all right, Sam. No problem.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it has become like something that people understand. They'd be like, no, but it's me, it's Steve from, you know, the bakery, from Greg's. We're like mates. I'm going to go talk to him. It's going to be fine. And whatever Steve says from Greg's, it could be like the greatest thing ever. It's going to be the wrong thing to say. You look great. And you're like, fuck off, Greg.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're fucking talking about. I look like a sultana.
He literally, I remember a guy in the gym saying to me, like, oh, you've lost a lot of weight. I was like, yeah. And he was like, really easy for you lot, though, isn't it? I was like, I ain't in 20 weeks, you fucking prick.
You're in the gym all the time. It's easy because you're here all the time.
Yeah. You live in the gym. You practice. Yes, I know. On a Stairmaster, you prick. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to deal with, but I mean, like I said, they're pretty good down there. Like most of them are pretty understanding, so that helps. Yeah, and I mean, most of the time I'm polite, but I'm not very chatty anyway, so it's not too bad. Everyone sort of expects me to be a bit quiet.
Yeah, I think we all resonate with that one.
Johnny's just all right because he's on a high carb day. It's been on a high carbs. If you'd have caught him about 3 days ago,
yeah.
I was questioning the meaning of life.
I know, and you were like asking me for the answers, and I was like, "Just shut up." Yeah, it's gonna. I think I actually messaged you going, "It's okay. You're not a dying African child. You'll be all right." I think that was my like morale boosting sentence that you got.
Yeah.
Did you put just jump?
Yeah, just jump.
Yeah, just do it.
You boys must have had it a million times when your friends are like, "Why are you doing this to yourself?"
Oh, I had a lad, right? I was trying to go for my pro card a million times. I kept fucking failing. And then some lad at the counter at the gym was like, is it all really worth it though? Like, what's the point? I could have fucking dropped him. And I just went down.
You're like, no, of course it's fucking not. Yeah, it's not the point.
Right, I'll jump on another question. Thoughts on use of testosterone in strongman and bodybuilding? But the next one is difference in drugs from strongman and bodybuilding. So I guess it covers both of them.
Let's do question 2. Question 1 is
gay.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
So let's look at the differences in the types of drugs and, you know, dosages and stuff like that, if you're willing to talk about it or whatever loosely.
Yeah, I sort of don't normally sort of go into it too much, just because more because I don't sort of feel qualified to talk about it. Obviously, we all know it goes on in both sports to sort of quite a degree, but like I've always had people advising me through, you know, what I've done and everything else, because although I have some knowledge, I don't feel like I'm an expert. So I've always sort of kept fairly quiet about the subject, just purely because, you know, I don't want some fucking kid like going, oh, well, Terry was doing this for World's Strongest Man, so I'm going to start doing it.
I'm going to do double, and I'm going to be World's Strongest Man twice.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, I mean, from a strongman point of view, and I can sort of quite happily say this, I would say the big thing would be high dosages of testosterone. A lot of the guys are still using things like Deca to a reasonable amount as well. Then you sort of, if you were adding in orals, you'd probably find most of the guys would be running things more, typically things like Anadrol and stuff like that, obviously, because, you know, obviously the water retention and all that side of things is not really an issue. But, you know, I would say quite a few of the guys are running Tren as well, because although it doesn't necessarily, you know, like it probably, a lot of people wouldn't expect it, but it does give you some fucking epic strength gains, especially if you're in a massive surplus of calories. So
that's what I find at the end of a prep for me, like the trend's really just to keep my strength.
Yeah.
Rather than like actual bringing condition. It's more allowing me to, for the last 6 weeks, stay as strong as I possibly can to keep the muscle.
Yeah, well, you imagine sort of putting yourself in a surplus of calories and then taking it as well. It then becomes something even bigger. But yeah, I mean, the only thing it obviously it can sort of cause some issues with like heat and things like that in terms of like sweating, which you've got to stay on top of your hydration. But it does give you some good strength kicks. And I mean, yeah, it's very basic strongman type stuff. You know, some of the guys are doing insulin, obviously to pack on the size, test, DECA or EQ. That would be pretty much what a lot of the guys would be running, but the test would be in I would say, higher dosages than what the bodybuilders are doing.
Because of wrong foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered that with the difference, because I've never come across a guy who does strongman to know the cycles, and you hear some things, but I kind of knew that's what it'd be. But how did you, as you can talk about if you want, but what do you think of like the negative things of like eating 10,000, 12,000 calories and then trying to take Anadrol? Because I know, like, even if I've tried to take it, I can't get 5,000, 6,000 in just because my actual appetite.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've literally only done them the once, and I stopped after about 3 weeks. I was like, fuck this. I felt like I was going to just, my insides were falling to bits. It was awful. Nosebleeds constantly and all the rest of it.
Blood pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, so I didn't sort of stay on it long, but I did find, I think that with a lot of the guys that they're using things like MK677.
Yeah.
GHRP6, stuff like that, that really increase the appetite. And I mean, they do all sorts of, I didn't really struggle that badly, but some of the guys are doing all sorts of little tricks to like just increase their appetite using all different supplements and smothering their food in like maltodextrin and things like this. And, like anything they can do just to sort of like cram the food in. But I mean, they're all big boys as well, so they're used to eating a lot. So I mean, I remember sort of watching Bryan eat, and he actually, when he was doing that vertical diet, he was eating fairly clean, and he was eating 12,500 calories a day, and it was pretty much all rice, baby carrots, and minced beef.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, absolutely nuts, isn't it?
I remember talking to him when he come to the gym, and he said he was eating 5,500 calories a day just in minced beef.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, fuck, that's horrible.
Just a casual cow a day.
Yeah, mate. I mean, I'm not a small person, but this cunt shook my whole arm.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "You're right," and he was like, "Ah, you strange 12-year-old child."
We were in the same group at World's Strongest Man. I think it was 2013. We were in the same group, and we were going out to do an event. And he was stood in front of me, like I was like facing towards his back, and I'm just looking at his back, just thinking, "You're not even a fucking human. You're like something completely different." He's like, his back was just like so wide. I was just like, "Fucking hell!" Like he's like a different breed of human being. He's something completely different to normal people.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. I've never seen, you see the bodybuilders and they're like, "Oh, you're big," and it's like, nah, we just got some muscle stuff. The real big guys are over there. Like Bryan was like over 200 kilos. He is like 7 foot tall. Like actually, he's like almost a foot taller than me.
Yeah, no, he's a big boy.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So next question. This one deserves a screen share.
Uh-oh.
Is it true that you're single now?
It's got to be a bloke. I guarantee that's a bloke.
Medieval recreationista.
Can't see.
He's a stone.
Yeah.
It's got to be a dude, isn't it? No, I am single actually. Yeah. So, to answer the question, I am single, but
not for the bloke, like.
No, I'm definitely not interested in that. And to be fair, I'm not even interested in women at the moment because I don't even think I'd have the energy to fucking perform even if I wanted to.
Yeah, 2 weeks out, you got to just write it off. Write off as damages. Just claim the tax back off it.
Yeah,
exactly. I actually sat there the other day and I was like, fucking hell, I woke up with a boner this morning for the first time in about 10 days. That's pretty good.
Make the most of it. Where's the cat?
Yeah. Exactly. No, my fucking body's like gone into meltdown, that's for sure.
Fucking hell.
We've all been there.
Yeah, don't worry. I know. Like,
Okay.
we've all been there, he says, eating a Pop-Tart casually.
I've got that food in.
Right. Okay. So TJ's thrown quite a big question on there. Is there anything you've learned in more recent years around training, nutrition, recovery that you wish you had known when you started out in strongman? A couple of World's Strongest Man champions have talked about sacrificing so much in prep for the comp, such as not seeing their family for weeks, and when they do, they've have to schedule around their time, around their prep. Whilst others have said they still have normal family time, and have even got married to their partner while pregnant while they were prepping. Do you think there is?
What? They've got married to their pregnancy whilst on prep.
Got married or got their partner pregnant while they were on prep. Do you think there is a good
It's the milkman's kid? This is some bullshit.
Good and balanced way to prep for high level comps when you don't have to sacrifice so much, or is it necessary to sacrifice things like family time?
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I would definitely say, because I've been married twice, so my first marriage definitely fell to pieces because I was such a selfish prick. Because I literally didn't give a shit what she wanted out of life when I was getting ready for shows. It wouldn't have mattered what she'd have said to me, what she wanted to do. So although we lived together and everything else, I had no fucking interest in anything that she wanted to do. Yeah. I was, I was extremely selfish. So do I regret it? Honestly, not really, no. And that's nothing against her, like she's my mum, the mum of my boy and everything, and we get on great and everything like that. But I was so focused on what I was doing, it just nothing else mattered. And
I think it takes that.
Do I think that was healthy? Probably not. But would I change it again? Probably not, because it was right for me at the time.
But I think if you ask anyone at the top of the game, people can't even imagine to be the third in the world that's being the strongest third man in the world. Yeah. What it takes to do that, you have to be extreme. You can't just be, like you said, you can't just play at it. No. Anyone who's a fucking millionaire, anyone who's a top football player, anything, like you look at, remember Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
His life was fucking crazy and he was just training 24/7, but he was the best in the game, you know what I mean? People don't want to get that sacrifice.
Well, yeah, I totally agree. I think it's I remember watching a documentary. Actually, it was about all that Balco Lab stuff when loads of the sprinters like Marion Jones and all that got popped for taking drugs, and they said, like, I think it was Tim Montgomery won the World Championships, and they said to him, like, if you could take something that would win you the Olympics, but you'd be dead in 10 years, would you take it? He was like, yeah. And I totally get it. I would have done anything. If you'd have said to me, right, if you do all this crazy stuff, taken this, done that, given up your fucking marriage, everything else to win World's Strongest Man once, would you do it? I'd be like, yeah, fucking right, I would. I was that obsessed with it. So it's not, I don't think that it's even healthy to be in a relationship when you're in that sort of mindset. They've got to really be very, very understanding people to put up with that shit.
Yeah, and Ronnie Coleman says it as well. He's like completely fucking quadrispazzed. Yeah. And he's like, would you change it? He's like, no, it's the best ever. Yeah. Like, what do you fucking want? This is the price I paid. Like, I didn't see another way, and here it is.
Also, he could have lived a mediocre life and probably never had the lifestyle he's had, the career he's had, never be remembered. So it depends on what you want. If you don't want to be remembered and you don't want to have a nice lifestyle, or you don't want to make a legacy for your family, then yeah, by all means, have a balance, have normality, but you're never going to be great, I feel.
Well, I watch a lot of stuff and with David Goggins.
Yeah,
mate, and he talks about it all the time. Like, don't make your life easy. Make it, do fucking things that are hard, and do them to the best of your ability. And the best of my ability means sacrificing everything around me, as far as I'm concerned. And like even now, like I don't have time for relationships or anything at the moment because I'm just not interested. I'm so focused on what I'm doing. It's probably a good thing I'm not with anyone.
Would you not feel like if that was put towards like a career and you was like, oh, he's going to be a millionaire, or say like Elon Musk, they'd be like, oh yeah, I get it, I understand. But
Yeah.
just purely for your passion, because it's what you fucking love doing. People are like, he's sacrificing everything. It's not worth it, but it's worth it to you. You know what I mean? It's what's valuable to yourself, isn't it? Rather than just money.
Could you imagine going through life just never fucking trying to do anything with yourself?
No.
I mean, to me, that would be. I don't think that's living. Just sitting there doing fuck all. That's not living to me.
Ryan, I've got to jump in. That's the longest you've talked on the podcast for so long, and it was actually really good. I enjoyed it, mate. You should do it more often.
Have a nap. Have a nap.
So,
but the thing is, now we're living in an Instagram thing where everyone, like, the cool thing to say is like, oh, I'm like balanced and like it's easy. I don't do any cardio, and like we've got people that can't sacrifice, like, oh, but I always eat oats in the morning because I've done that since I was 6. Like, we've got people that can't sacrifice anything to get anywhere. Like, and actually, the real talk is fucking this. Yeah. Like, if it's your thing, and the thing is, money, like, doesn't, like, everyone resonates with money. Oh, it's not worth it because do you get loads of money? Like, with the shows, do you earn loads of money? No. Well, what the fuck? What are you doing? It's like, this is worth more than money because it's a promise I made to myself to go and be the best version. And that's worth more than money. And people can't fathom it because they don't have a focus. And it's that conversation's already over then.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who are there's a lot of people who know who are really well off and millionaires, but not third world strongest man. Do you know what I mean? You can't buy that shit. You can't buy it. It's earned. Do you know what I mean? And people can't seem to understand that.
No, and that's the thing. And I think if you're doing it for yourself as well, it's even more important. If you're doing it for you, I mean, like you said then, like, it's perfect. I'll sacrifice pretty much anything to get what I want if it's like a goal that's something that I really want to achieve. And I actually don't really understand people that are not willing to make those sacrifices. I mean, and all this balance thing, fuck your balance. Like, do you want it or do you not want it? It's literally as simple as that.
I was having this conversation today in training. I was like, these are the dues. This is what it costs to get, like, in my mind, I want to get to Olympia. So this is what it costs to get to Olympia. Are you willing to do X, Y, and Z? Yes. And then there's people who are just not willing to do that. And they think they are, but they'd rather go out or they'd rather not eat Pop-Tarts on a podcast. You know what I mean? They just...
pussies.
It's just fucking weak mentality right now, nowadays.
I agree. So, everyone's entitled to an easy life. Fuck that. I don't want an easy life.
No. All right, let's not moan too much. We might get less followers on Instagram, and then we wouldn't be #blessed, and I'd hate that.
#blessed. I love it. Right. So what about the first part of that question that TJ asked? Is there anything you've learned in the most recent years around training, nutrition, recovery that you wish you'd known when you started out strongman?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I definitely feel like my understanding of nutrition and even sort of how the body works in terms of training is probably better now than it's ever been. And I know that I only need to make sort of subtle changes to my nutrition to make big changes when it comes to performance. It's actually been recently, like when I've had high carb days and things like that, and I've been sort of monitoring the difference within in my training of like how much better I perform and things like that. And it sort of makes you think that, you know, if I'd have understood this a little bit more back then, that would have been very beneficial. You know, I don't regret anything that I did, and I don't regret the journey that I had. But, you know, it would have been nice to have had that knowledge. But I think it's a lot better now anyway, because there's so much more information out there for people.
What I think you're saying is if you'd known about nutrition, you'd have beat Bryan Shaw.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I did beat him a few times when he was first starting out.
Yeah.
But not. It didn't last for long, to be fair. I think he was. He was sort of. He first come on the scene and he was a big boy, and then all of a sudden, 2 years later, he was fucking like the biggest human being on the planet, and still could run like a 12-stone man. It was bizarre, but Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, actually, was one of the sort of deciding factors to me sort of starting when I did lose the weight. I was kind of like, I was still competing, and I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to win World's Strongest Man, and I sort of had that mindset. And then people were like, well, what's the point in doing it? I'm like, I'm doing it for me, but I'm going to do the best I can, but in a healthier way. But I sort of used to look at Bryan, and I'm like, he's got all the knowledge because he's a fucking strength and conditioning coach. He's got, you know, he's got his degrees and everything. So he's got all that knowledge. He has all the genetics on his side, and also he does everything that you could possibly do to be as good as he can be. And I'm just sort of looking at it going, even if I do everything I need to do to be as good as I can be, I still won't beat him.
That's what people don't realize when you get to that top 1%, though. That's the difference. It doesn't matter what you do. They're just always going to be better. Like, no one's going to be as fast as Usain Bolt. Anyone can try. They can try all the different training, all the different drugs, but they're still not going to be him because he's just got that X factor in what is the difference, isn't it?
It's the chance in a million, isn't it? It's like Ronnie Coleman didn't know what he was designed for, you know, and then he somehow stumbled into what God created him for, you know. It was like the epitome of his design. Bryan Shaw's the same, Usain Bolt's the same. You know, it's a you know, a 1 in a billion chance that person finds the thing that they were purely designed to do genetically. And when that comes along and also meets work ethic, the game's kind of fucking over.
Yeah, no one can match it.
Exactly that. I could have worked just as hard as him, looked after my nutrition as well as I possibly could, and I still wouldn't have beat him.
Some tough fucking pills, some tough pills to swallow, that shit, when you're that close.
It is. But I think as it got older, it got a little bit softer, and I sort of was like, nah, okay, I had a good run, so it's all right.
In all fairness, it was more than a good run, to be fair.
Fucking A.
Right, so rather than keeping you for too long, because I know you're on prep, what we do at the end of our podcast is we ask for 5 top tips.
A bit longer, Johnny. Stop ruining it. No, Johnny.
The man's probably got to eat. He's gonna probably have a hype more.
He's fidgeting.
We 5 top tips. So what we ask is just basically off the top of your head, 5 tips for people watching. They can be gym related, strength related. They can be not related to anything at all, but
tan related, I think, would be good.
Tan?
Yeah.
I don't even know where that comes from, honestly. Like, everyone in my family's like fucking pale as a ghost, and for some reason I'm like looks good, brown, like, all the time. And I was in Dubai for Eddie and Thor's fight as well, so I caught a good bit of sun over there.
Let's just finish. What did you think of that? Let's get that wrap up. What did you think of the fight?
I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the spectacle of it all, and being in the fight hotel and all that stuff. I enjoyed it, but I mean, it wasn't the result I was hoping for, if I'm honest. You know, like Eddie's.
You want Eddie to win?
You
wanted Eddie to win, I guess.
Of course, yeah, but still, like, it was good. It was an enjoyable experience.
Good entertainment.
It was good for me going over and just getting a good solid bit of training done over in Dubai was good. It was even just for that, and I got that Raw Foods, Jamie Dorigo's company, to do all my food for me while I was there, so I stayed on prep. It was fucking great.
Happy days, yeah. It was good. Yeah, I'm going for Eddie, to be fair, because I thought he was going to absolutely fucking pagger him. I thought, like, even though Thor was a big guy, I thought he was going to bring it technically. He just didn't bring it, did he? It's a shame, really.
No.
It was like everyone's got a plan until it goes out the window, and it felt like Eddie's did as soon as the bell rang.
It's that saying, isn't it?
Everyone's got like over down here.
Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the nose.
Yeah, that's Mike Tyson.
I fucking love Eddie anyway. So
yeah, he's a good guy. I think I mean, I was getting a lot of like messages about like the pre-fight stuff, and people like, oh, you know, he shouldn't be doing this and he shouldn't be doing that, and I was like, imagine the fucking pressure he's under.
Yeah, but I think also you've got to take this for what it's for. It's almost like glorified wrestling, isn't it? It's wrestling, isn't it? Like, let's face it, it's 2 big names, 2 big characters going at each other. You've just got to take it for what it is. Like, it's entertainment. It's not, do you know what I mean? People should just enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when I watched it, like it was a fuck lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I thought like two lumps were going to like wave at each other for like a minute and then pant, and one was going to fall over.
Even
Like,
like the press conference and things like that, it makes it more enjoyable.
of course it does.
Yeah, you want to see that build up. You want to feel like there's actual fucking they hate each other and
Yeah.
telling us.
And actually, they're just going ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, and all they're linking is an extra 0 on the fucking line.
Yeah.
You're an idiot not to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so 5 top tips.
Okay, 5 top tips.
They don't have to be very good. In fact, often they're shit. So no pressure.
I think when it comes to training, like whether it's strongman, bodybuilding, anything like that, I think number 1 tip would have to be consistent. For me, like that's the most important thing. It's you know, it's one session doesn't make any difference, or one good meal doesn't make any difference. It's the consistency of keep doing it. So that would be my number 1 thing that I would always sort of put on to people. Take one step at a time, whether you're going into strength sports or bodybuilding. If you're looking to sort of transition into a different sport, just start by getting each piece of the puzzle right. So do one thing at a time. So don't try and change everything all at once. Like for me, when I started the sort of weight loss and the bodybuilding journey, I literally started, my first thing I did was I stopped drinking. And then it was like, then I started to address my diet, and then I started to address my training, and then I started adding in cardio, and I just changed like one thing at a time until it became normal. So that would be my number 2 thing. Number 3 probably is actually really the most important thing, is enjoy the process. If you're not enjoying the process, or, you know, you have moments and dark moments with training and trying to achieve something, but you have to enjoy the thought of that end goal. If you don't, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. So that's 3. Look after yourself as best you can, whether that be getting physio treatment, getting your blood work done, you know, stretching, foam rolling, whatever, you know, always try and look after yourself as best you can, because I don't think either bodybuilding or strongman, if done badly, are particularly good for your health. But you can obviously minimize those risks massively by doing the right things. And number 5 would be, I don't even know.
That's enough, man. Let him off his
They
feet.
were fucking good.
Yes, they were a solid.
Johnny has
4.
to do us the 5th one.
Yeah, Johnny, do the 5th one.
Johnny's got to do the 5th one.
Don't eat 1,600 grams of carbs in 24 hours.
That's some bullshit.
It
That's
fucking
bullshit.
I've just get fucking gone as that 140 gram of carbs I've been on here. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, dude,
That sounds like
my
fucking
insides
heaven to me right
are on fire.
Don't worry, Johnny. 0 carbs tomorrow, mate. Clear. We'll be all right.
First time in my life that I was happy to hear that, to be honest.
We'll make it.
1,500 grams of carbs in 2 days sounds like fucking heaven to me right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
He's a whingy twat. That's what he is, Terry. He's a whingy twat. No
oh,
matter what he's on.
200 grams a day for the last fucking 2 weeks, apart from one high day.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, for a man of your size, that is horrendous.
Oh, honestly, it's been fucking awful. But Saturday I'm high carb, so I've got that, you know, that to look at and to be excited about.
Oh God, I remember like Amph, my coach wouldn't tell me, so I'd never know, or I'd think one was coming. So I'd be like, "Oh, we've had a high carb like last week. Well, there must be one on Sunday." I get there, and he'd be like, "No, not this week."
Yeah.
Mate, my life is just in the toilet immediately.
You've
Like,
already planned out where you're going to eat, what you're cheat meal, like, just no cheat meal.
I've literally like thrown the missus on the train tracks on the spot, set fire to the fridge. Like, if I can't eat, you can't eat.
What did you have in your high carb day? Did you have the cream of rice? That's something I've only just discovered. And
it's good shit.
Yeah, I didn't have too much of cream of rice. I'm not a massive fan, if I'm honest.
I love it.
I had that before. I have it every day, to be fair, Johnny.
Yeah, it's on the diet. I have it every day on the diet. But when I had the carb amounts through, I got told to keep the fat percent below 5, knock yourself out. So that's pretty much what I've done. Keep the sugars low. and that's what I've done. I've just done it that way. Lots of bagels and potato and rice and like a million Rice Krispie square bars.
Nice.
Yeah, I like cream and rice because I can just get in. If I've got to eat 300 grams of carbs for breakfast,
I just drink mine.
I can't.
You
Yeah.
drink those? Yeah, I just drink
Yeah.
it.
Or I
No.
fit like 50-50, so I like eat a bit to make myself feel like I'm not a horrible cunt.
I do 130 gram and then 70 grams of whey post workout straight away. Done. It's easy to get in there.
Yeah, I do love it. It's a godsend for someone like Terry's got appetite. I've got no appetite. I mean, my heaviest weight is probably is a stone over what yours is now, but I'm shit at eating. Shit. So cream of rice is fucking legendary because I just pound it in.
I am actually really fucking good at eating, to be fair. Good at.
We'll have to sort that out. We'll get a cheat meal recorded. We'll see how much Terry can eat.
Last time I did a cheat thing, I tried to eat 10,000 calories in an hour, and I got up to 9,000.
Fuck off!
In an hour.
In an hour.
Mate, you need to do a YouTube channel for that shit.
I actually did it in 45 minutes, but then I had to tap out. I was like, I can't do it.
What did you eat?
Pizza, McDonald's, ice cream, Krispy Kreme donuts. It was fucking hideous.
In an hour.
Yeah.
Mate, I mean, I don't know what the calorie count is, but I've done that exact setup. I've done the order the Domino's, and whilst I'm waiting for the Domino's, I'm eating McDonald's and eating the ice cream at the same time. Then I'm eating the fucking... and I've never felt so shit in all my life afterwards. I felt like I'd been like at a rave on like 90 disco biscuits. I would have fucking killed myself.
Well, that was the thing. It was even the next day I still felt fucking ill. I was like, what have I done to myself? I've not really fucked myself up.
Yeah,
So I think that's tip number 5.
Yeah,
I think
Don't
so.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't try and eat 10,000 calories in an hour.
You have to redo it after for your rebound. I want to see it on YouTube.
Oh, I've got fucking like 2 shows in a row. That's the problem. I've only got a week between them.
What shows are they? You go to Fit X and then what's after that?
May 8th, and then I'm doing 2 bros the week after.
Wicked.
Which one's that?
So the dates fall right, and I couldn't be bothered. Like 2 bros on that weekend is the nearest one to me. I didn't really want to travel, so
Yeah.
It's annoying having a week turnaround. You can't really have that splurge yet. You got to just hold it in.
nah. But
I find it easier that way.
The second one.
I find it easier just having a week apart. When I used to have like 2 weeks,
I like 2 weeks.
I hate it because I'm like, I cheat and I think this tastes too good. I'm not going back to dieting.
True story. Terry, mate, it was wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Terry, mate.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, pal. Good luck for the rest of your prep, pal. We'll be watching.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Good luck on Sunday as well.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Nice to meet you all, and I enjoyed it. It was good.
Nice one, Terry, mate.
Good to have you. Take care, boys. See you soon.
See you
Big
later.
love.